What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another video with me, Alex. As you probably can tell from my now extremely tan skin, I'm back from Mallorca, feeling rested, new impressions, and ready to get cracking with the YouTube videos again. For you new watchers out there, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex Olsen. But why am I making this video? Do you actually need to get out of Greenland in order to feel rested and rejuvenated and filled up with new impressions and awesome lifestyle trips and tips? But why do you actually need to get out of Greenland at least once a year? In my opinion, at least. Isn't Greenland so great that you basically have to stay here 365 days a year? Why would you actually leave? Those are some of the questions that I would like to answer in this video that I thought would be appropriate after a long time away from the YouTubes. And what could the benefits actually be? Because as you can imagine, the answer to those questions are a little more complex than they actually seem. They're not just black and white, such as life. So sit back, relax, hit the like button, subscribe if you hadn't already, and let's get cracking with the video. Okay, from the title of this video, why you actually need to get out of Greenland at least once a year, maybe twice or 3 times a year. I know that is an extremely privileged thing to say, as return tickets just from Greenland to Denmark cost in the neighborhood of the absolutely lowest price tickets you can find will go for $1,000 back and forth. And if you want to go even further from there, yeah, you just add on top of that. But I still think it is very much worth it to spend the extra dollars or bolivares or Bitcoin or whatever you call it in your country to get out of your country and experience something new. So I basically got this idea when we were driving around on the lovely island of Mallorca, which we just spent, well, not just spent, but 3 weeks ago. Yeah. I've been slacking off, I know. But we spent 2 weeks on Mallorca on vacation, basically driving around all over the island. And to the tunes of new reggaeton songs on the likes of Ozuna and Daddy Yankee and all the good things that they can produce of music, I got this idea for this video. But we had rented a car from the capital of Palma on Mallorca, and then we just put up our phones and looked at Google Maps and basically started all the other places that we wanted to visit on the island. And then we just took a full circle all the way around the island, stopped at the places that we wanted to stay, and basically booked hotels 1 day in advance. And let me tell you, it definitely was worth it. And being in a different environment just made me realize that it was very good for me to experience a new culture, having to deal with different people, while also taking in a whole, maybe not completely different, but very different scenery from what I'm actually used to here in Greenland. And just the fact that it was good for me to do something else. Getting out of the routine and basically experiencing life in a different setting, which brings me to my first point. You need different inputs. Although I am very happy and satisfied with my life here in Greenland, I also do acknowledge that once in a while, maybe a couple of times a year, I need to go to a different place, at least, or a different country if that is possible. Not that possible last year. Basically done for long-term happiness and satisfaction, totally in my own opinion. I do know that the Spanish culture is not that different from the Greenlandic culture or Danish or any other European culture for that matter. They do have 220 volts running in their electrical sockets. The sockets are basically the same as we have here. They also have running water, not good for drinking though. And most of them, at least on Mallorca, do speak English, which I really like. But the main different thing is that they do have very lovely margaritas and an abundance of sunny weather. Oh. Yes. Back in the action. But the change in environment definitely makes your brain work differently, as you're basically taking in every change like a sponge, quite literally, and everything is a little bit more unpredictable than your normal routine. For me personally, just being able to pull the plug and take a third-person eye view of what I actually like and don't like. For example, like different foods or walking around in shorts instead of pants, 38-degree weather, and snorkeling. Not to forget the lovely margaritas without the salt rim. I just really feel that those experiences where you basically take a third eye view of them and decide if you want to bring them into your life, if they're actually worth bringing into your life, is so enriching, and I feel so privileged and so happy to be able to do such things. Because let's face it, if I were just have stayed here at home, I would never have found out that I actually really enjoy margaritas without the salt rim. The second point I want to bring to you is that life in Greenland is isolated. Can you hear that? No, me neither. Life in any town in Greenland is very isolated. You are basically living on these small island societies basically, and the towns are not interconnected with cars, which is why I find it so enriching to be able to go to places like Mallorca, which is also an island, but you're still able to go from town to town with a car with very nice infrastructure once you have a car with air conditioning, by the way. And I think that is just so awesome, and it shows you firsthand what is actually possible, even though you meet a mountain or two or some crazy windy roads. Although we do have the internet up here, so the isolation from the rest of the world have kind of decreased a little bit, I still think that it's very important to get out into the real world and experience the things firsthand before you actually get the full impression and the full gulchment of things. Is that even a word? I am not sure. And to be clear, it should not just be for the sake of Instagram, but it should definitely also be for your mental well-being. Hearing a different language and seeing big and very expensive boats, maybe daydreaming a little bit, and sharing a new experience is what I really enjoy when leaving Greenland. To my point number 3, it gives you ideas, because normally you can fall into this routine of basically waking up, taking on your clothes, brushing your teeth, going to work, having your lunch, then working a little bit more, going home, eating dinner, go to bed, and repeat the next day. And unless you actually make time for new ideas and new inspirations, you can quickly fall into this mechanical routine, which by the way is not bad at some points. There should definitely be time for that at some point in your life, but hopefully not for the rest of your life. But for me at least, I know that it can be a little bit detrimental just to get into the meat grinder and work. It's possible, but not good for the long term. All I know is that when I visit other countries and seeing how and what they actually do in those countries really gets my mind spinning. Just seeing how you can take an idea from a place that you go to and implement it if there's a need for it in your own country really is very awesome. Not to mention all the nice houses and places in Mallorca. Eventually it would be very awesome if I had like a little vacation home down in Mallorca. Maybe a little further out in the future, but I think it is possible. Going back to the ideas, I was definitely blown away by the lack of solar parks or just solar panels on the roofs in Mallorca, which is basically an island that gets 300 plus days of sun each year. So in my mind, when you have the air conditioning running basically 24/7 and the power consumption is at its peak, just as when the sun output is at its peak during the midday, why not pump on some more solar panels on that island? And I also looked at where they actually get their electricity and power from, and it looked, with the recent UN report coming out about the climate crisis, I kind of think that I should offset some of my CO2 expenditure with all the AC units we had running during our nights in Mallorca. But to say it quite easily, it is not very good. So I guess for my next vacation home, I would like to have one in Mallorca at one point. I guess I should just get some extra land and put a bunch of solar panels on those, feed that into the grid, which is damn dirty, and just have a net zero expenditure home in Mallorca basically by selling electricity. That seemed like a good idea to me, right? But trust me, I have definitely been scouting for places as soon as we were going and seeing, oh yeah, there's a mountaintop there, and then if we put one there, you could still see the sun going down there, and having the capital city and the sun going down, that would be so awesome and stuff. And then I went in and looked at the prices, and then damn! I was also told there's a lot of foreigners doing the exact same thing, so I guess all the other people that live in places where they don't get a lot of sun, they go to places where there is a lot of sun and buy up all the vacation rental houses and bump up the prices. Smart. But that idea is definitely a little further out in the distant future. But to my main point of this video, also why you need to get out of Greenland at least once a year. All these things I'm saying here and all the ideas that I have gotten and the new inspirations would not have happened if I had just been sitting here in my bed. Not my bed. In my chair. My chair. So that was the main one. Get out, explore some more. Also start to think of if you should offset your carbon emissions. I just did that today. I don't have a link in the description, but you can find those, and we should probably start to do that stuff. So as you can tell, those are just some few reasons why I believe that you should get out of Greenland and explore some more. Although it is nice to live here when you also have a boat. But for me personally, at least once a year, maybe twice or 3 times a year, that would be ideal. Get out of Greenland, get some new impressions, see some other cultures. Maybe bring that back if you really enjoy it, or just leave it there and say, I am never doing that again. Experience new things, get new ideas, or simply just enjoy that you actually have a wonderful life where you are situated at the moment. And the fact that I have clean tap water running through my faucets. Very nice. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you hadn't already, and see you in the next video. Okay, bye.